Here we are at day 9 of our 10 days of summer sublimation projects. And today we have a super simple project that is really fun to kind of create. And we're just going to jump right on into it. Now, like I've said in the past days, if you need a little more guidance in how to prepare your design or how to come up with your designs, go back and watch day 1 and 2 because I go into more detail on how to use Canva and Creative Fabrica and how to print so your print colors come out right. But we're just going to jump right on into it today. And as you can see, I have this funny shaped little thing here, and this is for a Stanley cup. So the straw goes through here and it fits right inside the cover of those giant water cups by Stanley. Now, different companies, you can usually find the ones that fit right for that, but this one is specifically made to fit on a Stanley. Now, with this one, I had made a print in Canva. I just took images that I found there. I took a photo and popped it in a rectangular frame that is on there. And then I just put in some words, summer fun. I thought that was kind of just a nice little thing for on this tag. And as you can see, the words are backwards. And that is so when you flip it over, you actually read it the proper way. Now, I will say with these, because there is this circle here, you want to make sure when you make your design that nothing is in where that circle would be. So like the words are just at the edge of where that would be. And in order to get that in Canva, all I did was I measured from here to this edge of the circle. And then I made a little line to put on here as I was making it so I knew where to stay away from, if that makes sense. So I made just a line that was the length of this, and then I knew where to kind of stay away from. Now with these, I got these off of Amazon, and of course, Amazon, you get a box full and not just one or two. So this box actually had 30 of them in, and it still has a ton in here because I actually don't have a Stanley, so I make these for people who do have them, friends and whatnot. And on this box, it gives you the instructions. So it says here to heat your press at 356 Fahrenheit for 120 seconds. So that's what I have my press set for. And it takes that long because of the hard material that this is. Usually the acrylic blanks and ceramics, things like that take a lot longer than your average, like 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So my press is set for 120 seconds. Now with most acrylic blanks and hard things like this, it does have this plastic film on it. So you're going to want to remove that first, or you're going to have a melted plastic mess on your press. And then there's really no need to clean this off because it had that plastic on. And now what I'm going to do is just put this upside down on here and slide this over as far as I can. I'm going to pick this up so I can see. And make sure it's on as straight as I can. If it's not perfectly straight, that's fine. I just want to make sure the whole thing is covered. And I am going to slide it up all the way to the blue. My angle here is not the best for trying to see what I'm doing and showing you at the same time. Okay, so now I did make it a little bit bigger so that I would have that extra space. And I can see my circle is in the right spot because I cannot see those pink letters through there. And I still see a tiny blue edge. So I know the entire thing is on where it should be. So now I'm going to carefully put that down and tape it with my heat safe tape. That one is stuck on there. And I'm just going to tape this down. Some of our projects for our 10-day sublimation have been super simple, and I like to give beginners a lot of options so they can see how easy sublimation is. Once you figure out the printer and getting the right settings for your color, there really is no end to what you can make with your sublimation printer and the products available. So this 10 days was just a good overview of some of the fun projects you can do. And tomorrow is my favorite, so make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because I'm going to drag my kids outside and we are going to work on my favorite summer sublimation project, and they are going to help me out with that. But for this one, we are just going to put it right on the press and press away. So we're going to move this aside. And I am going to, paper up, like I've said before. Unless it says otherwise, the paper should always be facing up. And I'm just going to fold this little piece of parchment paper so it's under and on top because I do not want this to press through onto the mat or the heat plate. And then I'm going to press this for 120 seconds. Now, I will say, I love when you guys comment and give me suggestions or recommendations of other things that you would like to see. And I had someone, I wish I had something that I could pull it up on really quickly as to who it was, commented on one of the videos when I was saying how you should cover your surfaces because the ink will go through otherwise and get on your mat. And she said that when she's done pressing her sublimation stuff, she'll put a piece of paper on the mat all by itself without anything else, just like a piece of paper, parchment paper, butcher paper, and then press it again. And that takes off any of that extra ink, which I thought, first of all, that's genius. And second, why have I never thought of that? I mean, that seems like one of those common sense things that I guess I've just been doing it this way for so long that never even occurred to me. So that is something I'm going to start doing just to make sure I remove any ink that if I sometimes forget to put paper down or a Teflon sheet over the top, which is what I normally do, that would just remove whatever is there. So thank you to whoever that was. Let me know in the comments if that was you. But that was a really good tip. And I appreciate that because obviously I don't know everything. We all have good ideas. We just have to be willing to share them. Now I'm going to let this finish off and then we will come back and finish up our project. There was our 120 seconds. I can see a little bit of the ink. Now they were lighter colors, so it's not going to be as dark and bright coming through. Then you know most of that ink has transferred. But we're going to let this sit for a second before I pull this off because these thicker items are super hot. And other than not wanting to move it because I don't want the hazy ghosting effect, it's just really hot. I have my little heat safe gloves here. I think I'll actually use today. I have burned my fingers quite a few times moving things like this a little too early, but it is not 90 degrees outside today, so I can put gloves on. Otherwise, it gets super hot when I have these on too much in the hot summer. Okay, so we are going to pull this up. And there is a little bit of ink that is over here, so I will throw that away. And then we are going to take this part off. Oh, these colors are nice. Look at that. That turned out really, really nicely. It is still very hot. I can feel it through the gloves. But I really like how this, as you can see, the background of it was like a photo that I pulled out of Canva and then inserted it into a frame. So it kind of kept most of that picture. And then I just added the words, but that photo turned out really, really well. You could even use an actual photo if you have like kids or grandkids, or I made one and I sent it to my sister-in-law, so I don't have it here to show you. But it is of the lake that the family cottage is on. And it was a really cool picture at night. Actually, if you go back to day one, it's the same picture I used for our can cooler. And I put it on one of these for her and sent that out to her. And it worked really well. It was just inserting a photo that you take and putting it into Canva, or you could, well, yeah, I would put it in Canva or something like that, and then print from wherever you print from. So that has lots of different options that you can do. These are a lot of fun for if you have parties that you can customize. You can make them and change them out of your Stanleys based on like the season or different holidays. A friend of mine wanted one made for work, so you could make fun ones for your work and companies, things like that. Obviously, you have to have a Stanley to do stuff like that, and they are specific to the sizes, so you always want to double check that it fits whichever Stanley you are making these for. I believe they're called Stanley tags. Like if you're looking them up on Etsy, I think that's what they're called. If you are here to the very end, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos. And if you want more simple sublimation projects, watch the video that's coming up next.